The bed frame made a loud creaking sound, and I stopped breathing. My little sister was sleeping 15 feet away, with only a thin wall between us. My parents were right below us, and I was lying in complete darkness next to a man I had married just 9 hours ago. I was biting a pillow so hard my jaw hurt because something was happening to my body that I didn't understand, had never learned about, and had no way to figure out. I was 19. I had never seen a diagram of a woman's body. I had never heard the word intimacy said out loud. And the only idea I had of what was happening came from watching animals on our farm. That was my wedding night. Quick pause. I'm Amelia, and this is the Amish girl. I grew up old order Amish, and now I share the stories we were never allowed to tell. If that matters to you, tap subscribe. It's free and helps keep these stories going. And tell me in the comments where you're watching from tonight. I grew up in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, one of 9 children on a dairy farm. Prayer cap, no electricity, horse and buggy, church on hard benches every other Sunday. I left a few years ago, and today I'm telling you what really happens when an Amish girl becomes a wife. Here's what people don't understand. In the Amish world, sex education does not exist. I don't mean it's limited, I mean the topic is completely removed. Our schooling ends at 8th grade. No health class, no biology lessons about reproduction, no school nurse. The Ordnung, the unwritten rules that control every part of Amish life, from bonnet shape to buggy style, treats the human body like something dangerous. Talking about physical desire is seen as pride, worldliness, and sin. You are taught that God created marriage and God will guide you when the time comes. End of discussion. But God does not give instructions on your wedding night, trust me. Josiah courted me for 14 months through bundling. That old tradition where a young man comes to your room late on Saturday nights, and you lie on the bed fully clothed, talking in whispers until morning. We held hands under the quilt. Once he kissed my forehead, and my whole body felt so hot I thought I was sick. That was everything. A hand and a forehead. 14 months. Now this is where it gets painful. 3 weeks before the wedding, my married sister Rachel pulled me behind the clothesline. Sheets were snapping in the October wind. She grabbed my arm and whispered, "It will hurt the first time. Just breathe. It gets better." I asked what she meant. She turned red like a beet and said, "You'll understand when it happens." Then she walked away. 13 words. That was my sex education from my own sister. The night before the wedding, my mother sat on my bed for exactly 2 minutes. She said, "Your husband will know what to do. Your job is to be willing and patient. This is God's design for children. Don't be afraid." She kissed my forehead and left. I lay awake until morning, scared of something I couldn't even imagine. But here's the thing. Josiah didn't know either. Nobody told him anything more than they told me. The wedding day was exhausting. At 4 in the morning, I was milking cows. I wore a new dark blue dress sewn by my mom. Over 300 guests arrived by buggy. There were 3.5 hours of sermons about submission and duty in our cleaned-out barn. We sat on hard benches while the bishop's voice echoed, "No kiss, no rings, because jewelry is not allowed." Then a huge meal, serving food for hours, cleaning up until dark. By evening, my feet were swollen, my head hurt badly, and underneath it all was a deep fear about what was coming. The last buggy left. My mother squeezed my hand once, said nothing, and walked to her room. I climbed the stairs to the spare room. The room where my grandmother had died 2 years before. Fresh sheets, her quilt folded at the end of the bed, blue and white stars on dark fabric, a wash basin on the dresser, one kerosene lamp casting shaky shadows on the walls. I changed into my nightgown. Long white cotton, high neck, long sleeves, down to my ankles. The same style I had worn since I was a child. Nothing special for that night. I sat on the bed and held my shaking hands between my knees. Josiah came in wearing plain cotton pajamas. He closed the door, and when I saw his face, something changed inside me. He was scared. This man who could build a house and work with horses looked like a lost boy. He sat next to me. The bed moved slightly. We didn't talk. Then came the moment I will never forget. He took my hand, his palm sweaty, and whispered, "I don't really know what we're supposed to do." I almost laughed from relief. He didn't know. The man everyone said would know what to do was just as confused as me. Two people who could run a farm, deliver animals, and build furniture by hand, but helpless in their own bedroom because years of tradition decided that not knowing was pure. He blew out the lamp. Total darkness, the kind only a house without electricity has. I heard his breathing, fast and shallow, and the creak of the bed. As he moved closer, his hand touched my shoulder through the nightgown, and I flinched, not from pain, but because it felt so unfamiliar. No one had ever touched me like that before. I won't soften what happened next. It was awkward, unsure, and short. He tried what he thought was right based on what he had seen with animals, our only example. He moved my nightgown. I wasn't ready. Not in my body, not in my feelings. Neither of us knew that a woman's body needs time, gentleness, and understanding. No one told him. No one told me. He thought being close was enough. I thought being willing was enough. It hurt, sharp and burning. I bit the pillow to stay quiet because my sister was sleeping on the other side of the wall. He whispered sorry, and I could hear real pain in his voice, but he didn't stop, and I didn't ask him to because neither of us knew that stopping was even possible. This was God's design. You don't stop God's design, you go through it. 2 minutes, maybe 3, then he turned away, breathing hard. I lay still, tears soaking into the pillow, not tears from cruelty. Josiah was not cruel. Tears from deep confusion that felt like sadness. I thought something would change, that I would feel something special that would explain why marriage is called becoming one. Instead, I felt the same, just sore, confused, and very alone, lying next to someone. He fell asleep. I stayed awake for hours, listening to the house, the wood creaking in the cold, the horses moving in the barn outside. I put my hands on my stomach and prayed, God, help me understand, help me be a good wife. Here is the part that still stays with me. It didn't get better, not for weeks, not for months. Our private life stayed the same, always after the lamp was out, always short, always with a purpose. He reached for me under the quilt, moved my nightgown, and began. No talking, no gentleness before or after. Not because he was unkind. He was one of the kindest men I knew, but because we had no understanding beyond the act itself. I learned to match my breathing with his. To know by the pattern when it would end, to think about the next day's chores while he moved in the dark. I never felt pleasure, not once. I didn't even know women could feel pleasure. I thought my role was to be still and willing. You cannot ask for something you don't know exists. My friend Mary once whispered to me while we were quilting, "Is it always so fast?" I said, "I think so." 7 words. The most honest talk 2 married Amish women ever had about intimacy. 4 months later, I was pregnant. The community celebrated, and I felt so much relief it made me dizzy. This was the reason for the discomfort, a baby, God's blessing. I hid every confused tear, every sleepless night, every question, and closed that part of myself. Being a mother was enough. It had to be. Looking back now, I know it wasn't enough. It was never enough. After I left, after being shunned, after my family stopped answering my letters, my therapist used words I had never heard in 22 years. Consent, arousal, anatomy. She showed me a simple medical diagram, and I sat there as an adult woman learning the names of parts of my own body for the first time. I wasn't angry. I was sad. Deeply sad for the girl who bit a pillow and thought it was normal. For Josiah, too, stuck in the same lack of knowledge. Wanting to do right, but having no tools and no permission to learn. We failed each other in that bedroom, and neither of us knew it. The Amish world gave me real gifts. Hard work, community, faith that stayed strong, the sound of horses in the morning, bread from a wood-fired oven, a sense of belonging so strong it changed me forever. I carry those things. I always will. But good and harm can exist in the same place. They did in mine. They do in every Amish home where a young bride lies down with only fear and a prayer, and they call that preparation. I call it what it was, silence pretending to be holiness. If you grew up somewhere where your own body was kept from you like it was dangerous, I see you. You are not broken. You went through something, and surviving is enough. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you felt while listening to this. And if you want more true stories from behind the prayer cap, subscribe. Your body was always yours, even when they told you it wasn't.